We back, we back, we back. I don't know if it's still laggy. I've gone into task manager and shut down as much as I can so that the stream gets all the processing power. And we'll see if that will work. Let me look at this from the stream from my end. Alright lads. Tell me the frames. We have a new follower. Hey, thanks for the new follow, Rot. Rot Tonil Laws. You know what? Let me not even try to pronounce that. I'm about to butcher someone's name so bad. Let me just keep my mouth shut. Usually we have a 5 minute break. I think we should have about 2 minutes left of the break. 2, 3 minutes maybe. Then we're gonna go back to racing. I believe the connection will be better now. So when we start racing, obviously you guys should tell me if the connection is better. Is there a way we can actually look at it? I mean, it would have been nice. Let's go to race directors. Most people are starting on the mediums. Pesci's on soft, but I believe he's probably just trying to trick the other drivers around him. Um, hard for Merck in Spain. Safety car won't. It's very like unlikely that there will be a safety car at Spain. So starting hands might be a good choice. The other three drivers at the back, Panther, Bakey, and Pax, all on soft tires. Panther with an engine penalty, so we'll be starting at the back today. He wasn't. It's not him just being slow. I believe he has an engine penalty. So says welcome back. Thank you, Woody. What I need to know is if the stream is better now. Should be. I used Task Manager to shut a bunch of stuff down on my laptop. I believe Discord was still kind of like active even if the app wasn't open. So that was taking a lot of processing space. Discord is one thing that when it's open, the stream gets really laggy. So let's just wait till the cars are on the grid. If they are, once they are, if it's nice and clean, then we're good. Woody, race winner from last week in tier two. This time around, he's not going to be the reserving for his team in tier one. So I'm sure he's happy to just watch the race. If I'm not mistaken, right? Woody's not on track. Yeah, Woody's not on track. So just time for Woody to watch the race this week. Yeah, I'm ready for tomorrow night, man. Singapore is going to be very interesting, honestly. It's very and also very difficult. Though. It's very hard to maximize pace at that track. It's honestly ridiculous. I'm trying my best, but tomorrow is going to be very tough. I can't wait till it's actually over because Singapore it's hell. Let have your feet up. Yeah, you don't really want to be racing in this tier much. It's not that fun. But the lights are going to be out soon. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and let's have a fun. Lights out, foot to the floor, and go, go, go. Pesci is going to have a good start. He's going to come across aggressively in front of Aaron to make sure that he doesn't get a run on him. Going into turn one. Aaron is going to look for it down the inside. Doesn't get it. Nice and clean between the other drivers. And it's compared to last year, if we remember what happened last year in tier one, that is way cleaner from them as AKZ Deadly and Raphael Tringler now squabbling already at the start of this race. Tesco Mildews and his teammate. Tesco definitely wouldn't attack his teammate too hard. Simon, someone is off track there. That is Warner. Another bad start for the Mercedes of Warner, but like last week, can he recover his race once again? Parks trying it on the inside of Black Panther, but he doesn't have that grip or the space to get by the kick Sauber as the race has now begun very close to the Mercedes here, Bakey Gaming. As the Mercedes is going to go slightly wide. Would that give the momentum to Bakey to attack him going into this corner? He's going to drive around the outside, Bakey, making a bit of contact with Ivy, but nothing doing. And now can go back to where he was. Most drivers on the medium tires, nobody starting on the hards, and only Pax decided to go for the soft. Will he make up the places that he definitely will be trying to do so if he's going for the soft tires? And we'll see. DRS has been enabled on this lap. Will Aaron wait for DRS? No, he's not going to wait for it at all. Christopher Schulin, though, 6 tenths behind them. He doesn't want to start falling back from Pesci and Gibo in front because he knows that Declan behind him has a lot of pace. He needs that DRS to defend from Declan. Declan also don't want him falling away from the pack because if they eventually fall away from Aaron and Pesci, Declan is going to see himself having a more difficult race here. It's better for him to stay in this train. And we'll see how it is. Stream's looking a lot better. Yeah, probably looking better than before. Maybe not the best, still the best quality, but probably is better than before. As Declan right behind Christopher Schulin. I know when I'm on board, the game probably doesn't sound too good. But most of the drivers still in this train. This is a long train. Nobody is out of it yet. So this is interesting to watch. But that's what Spain brings. It brings these DRS trains that are hard to break out of. And it's going to take a lot of top driving to get to so. But Aaron Gibbon now will have the first opportunity with the DRS to go on the attack. And here we go down the straight now. He's going to have enough straight line speed to get past Pesci as easily as possible. On the inside, the kick Sauber is going to take the lead of this race. And he's one of the drivers definitely that will be going for a championship this season. 10-second penalty for Pax as he goes into the pit lane. I don't know why he's going to pit lane this early. Maybe his tires are already worn out. Soft tires, not that good here at Spain. That's Aaron now still ahead of Pesci. Declan, it's confusing to see Declan not being in front, having drivers around him that are just as quick as him or around his pace that are giving him a very big push. But this top 9 drivers, so very, very top performing drivers of the league. I believe these top 9 drivers probably are the best drivers in the league right now. Then if you add like the likes of Rusted Bolt and Merck to that list, Black Panther, a few of them who are still at the back now. But that top 9 as we speak is with the best quality that we have in this league. And we'll see exactly what they do when it comes to racing today. Would Pesci take his place back, or does he want to hold behind Aaron because he knows Aaron has the pace to keep pulling away from the drivers behind? Is he going to go for a move down the inside? No, he's not. He got as close to Aaron as possible, maybe trying to push him off there, and put him off his line there. But Aaron, probably with a lot of racing experience, didn't fall for that trick, the oldest trick in the book. But Hazer and Tesco doing a good job for Ferrari here in the top 10. The two drivers that tried to get both top 10 last week in Tier 1, but the penalties that they did have saw them fall out of it. But this time around, can they get it done? As Mr. P stuck behind this 7-car pack. 7-car pack that is going to be a very, very tough one. Anybody in that top 9 can win this race. Tesco maybe can win the race, but it's going to be a very, very long shot for him. But anybody in that top 9 can win this race. And everyone is still in that DRS, except for Merck. Merck is the first driver now who has fallen out of the DRS. And he always complained about Spain, saying he doesn't really have the best pace at Spain here. And it's starting to show. But can he get back to Rusted Bolt? Because he has a problem of Simon in that McLaren behind him. He's saving as much ERS as he can in that Aston Martin to try and defend from Simon. We'll see if he will be able to do so. Heading to the front, Pesci will not get close enough to Aaron. He's not going to dive down the inside. That won't be smart. That nobody is close enough to make a move here. JSS, though, getting past Tesco Mildeals up to P10. Simon getting past Merck. We saw that coming because Merck did not have that DRS. Can he hold on to Simon? Can he use that McLaren to get back up to Rusted Bolt in front? As Tesco has lost the place to JSS, who's now out of the DRS from Tesco's teammate. Maybe a bit of squabbling from Tesco on JSS could make to relieve pressure from Hazer in front. But I don't believe Tesco does have the pace to squabble JSS much here. As Ivy Ivy looks like Ivy has made a mistake or making contact with someone, and I seen him go onto the gravel. Still not a good start to the season for Ivy. Probably his worst start to the season in any season so far at UFRL. And after last week's woes, the woes continue this week. And can he recover his race? It will be very difficult as this tier doesn't doesn't allow mistakes. How tough this tier is this season. Any mistake you make will certainly see you lose a bunch of places and a bunch of time, as most of the drivers will stay as they are for now, as the DRS pack is too strong for any overtake to be made. Simon still 2.5 seconds behind, but Merck still losing more time here. His pace is nowhere to be found, but he has damage on the right wing end plate for Merck. I see why he's losing a lot of time. The Aston Martin has damage on his car. We should try to extend it as much as he can, and definitely will be changing his wing when he does come into the pit lane. But Black Panther now stuck behind Bakey Gaming. Will want to make that move on Bakey as soon as possible. Him and Warner know that they have a bit of more pace than Bakey collectively, but Bakey is doing a good job to defend from them here, and now has that DRS on Merck in front. That's going to give him even much of a better chance to hold the drivers behind back. And they are out of the DRS here. The bottom five from Merck down to Pax or down to Ivy be battling, but Ivy is even more of a distance away from Warner. So the bottom pack from Merck down to Warner is a 4-car pack, and they will be fighting for their own places. But heading back to the front, Pesci, is he close enough this time around? He's looking for it down the inside, almost going for it there, trying to put Aaron Gimbo off his line again, but Gimbo is showing the experience that he has. Like every time Pesci tries to put him off his line, he just sticks to it, and it's not going to be a problem for him. The stream is still a bit laggy from what I'm seeing on my screen. Oh, oh my days! Ha! I almost shut down OBS. That was just shut down the stream entirely. The stream is still a bit laggy from what I'm seeing. Let me look at the stream from my Twitch position. I mean, my voice is not laggy, but the stream is slightly shaky. But I believe that's just my internet connection, which has been quite poor recently. But Pesci is still stuck behind Gibbo. Gibbo is doing a great job here. Is he saving enough ERS to keep Pesci behind? He is. Pesci has a lot of ERS, but Gibbo also has. And coming out of this corner is where it's important. You want to better exit in these two quick right-handers as flat out as possible. It's all about bravery coming out of here, because sticking to your throttle down will keep the downforce in that car and keep your car going through there as quick as possible. But Gibo is going to pick the defensive line this time around, and Pesci is going to go around the outside. They didn't make contact there, but Pesci could not complete that move. Gibo, good defense from him, keeps Pesci behind one more time, as JSS now is still trying to catch up with Hazer in front. But as these two in front are squabbling, that's definitely pushing the pack back even more and giving a chance for JSS to get back into it, to make it an 11-car train all the way, actually 12-car train all the way down to Rusted. But Simon is still trying to catch back up to Ben Nem, that is 2.9 seconds away. But he will soon catch up back up to them sooner or later, as long as these two in front keep squabbling. I would love it if they keep squabbling, because they are giving us so much entertainment here. The Pesci saving as much as he can this time around. Can he complete the move on Aaron Gibbo? As Gibbo will be coming out of the pits, he's way ahead of Pesci again. I believe that distance that Gibbo has right now on Pesci will be enough to keep Pesci behind, especially with the ERS saved on that kick Sauber. So he's going to save more go heading down the straight. But here we go. Declan finally attacking Christopher Schulin on the inside. Will Christopher have enough to defend from him? Making a bit of contact there. They are very close, inches from making even more significant contact. But oh my god, Declan is going to be compromised now. Connor will take the opportunity. Gets him past Declan, who tried it on the inside on the long right hander of turn 3. But Christopher Schulin kept his foot planted, and kept his car in front of Declan, who is now behind Connor. And after trying the attack on Christopher Schulin, he's lost a place rather than gain a place like he was trying to do. Warrior is getting past Baker Gaming here. Baker finally going to be an obstacle passed by Warrior and Black Panther. But Black Panther is squabbling now with Merc, who has damage on his car. Around the outside, Panther will complete the move on the alien Aston Martin as Hazer in that pack. JSS now will join this pack. Like I said, him and Tesco will soon get back into the DRS of this pack as they are squabbling in front. As Connor now has fallen out of the DRS of Christopher Schulin, so this finally will be Declan's time to get past him. Pesci is not close enough to Gibbo, but Declan is definitely close enough to the McLaren, and on the inside, Declan will take his place back up to P4 and try to catch up to Schulin in front. Schulin also falling out of the DRS of the top two, so the top two are exactly where they need to be right now. JSS still not in that DRS. Merck has been overtaken by Warner up to P15. He goes looking for it on the inside, but definitely would not be going for that move there. Will Merck change his wing when he does come into the pit lane? Probably he will, because he's definitely struggling there. I believe even if that 7 seconds that he will lose in the pit lane, he will easily gain it back on track if he does change that wing. As we see Tesco, JSS now very close, still very not into that pack yet. He's pushing as much as he can to get into it. As Hazer is close to the Alpine of Mr. P, they looked for the dive, doesn't go for the dive. He will hold back and will have another opportunity as they head to turn one. But with all the DRS that everyone is sitting on, it's going to be quite difficult. JSS finally has gotten back into that DRS. Tesco is trying his best to hold on to the drivers in front. Maybe this will finally be Simon's opportunity to catch up to Tesco. As Hazer now won't get close enough. No one is going to be close enough to make a move. They are staying as they are. Like, it's Spain. You did expect the DRS train to be too strong here. Schulin, though, pushing very hard to catch up to Pesci and Gibbo in front, because he knows Deck behind him is going to have that DRS on him if he doesn't do so. And there you go. Back into the DRS for the house of Christopher Schulin, as Mr. P still stuck in P8 and has that Ferrari behind him. A Ferrari that is definitely will be losing his patience behind the Alpine. I will be wanting to make places. 10-second penalty for Ivy speeding into the pit lane, and that's the end of Ivy's race. He is out of the session, and Pax will make a place on him. The Kick Sauber team. This is a team that people should not ignore. You know what? Let's look at the constructors. I need to see the teams that are actually up there too, that could fight for a title this season. Remember that Woody is in Kick Sauber for Tier 2, so he can bring a lot of points for them in Tier 2. So they have a very good lineup here. Black Panther, let's not forget, didn't start at the back because of his pace. He started at the back because of an engine pen. So he was one of those drivers that probably could have qualified in the top 10, and that would have seen the Kick Sauber in a very, very interesting place here. And they are a team to look at after winning the constructors last season. Can they make it back to back? I mean, it's not the same team, it's not the same TP anymore, but it's still the same colors of Kick Sauber. Can they make it a back to back constructors? We'll see. That will be the first team to do back to back with two different TPs. We'll see. They can get that completed, as Benke has gotten past Warner, who has gone into the pits. The first driver going into the pits. He's going for medium tires, which is quite interesting because Warner did start on the medium, so it's going to be mediums again. So with Merck, who has damage on his car, go for that one-stop strategy instead that Warner decides not to do. There's still about 21 laps to go in this race, so it's still a lot of racing to go. So if you want to go for that one-stop strategy, you need at least 4 more laps on these mediums. At least 15 laps on the mediums is what you need to do. Then the rest will be on the hards, which will be about 18 to 19 laps. It's Pesci still stuck behind Christopher Schulin, who's doing a good job to keep Pesci behind. I don't know how he's doing so. Pesci has that DRS. I'm still stuck behind Gibbo, sorry. Pesci has that DRS, but it's not going to get ahead. Declan still also stuck behind Christopher Schulin. The pace between these top 5 seems a bit similar. Also, Rafael Tringler, top 6, and Deadly. So it's quite difficult for them to make overtakes. P now starting to fall out of that DRS of the top 7. He is one of the ones that are probably quicker than the rest of the pack. when it comes compares to these top seven, it's very difficult for P to be able to hold on to them. But he does have the experience to do so, and he definitely will try to. JSS falling out of that DRS from Hazer. So that's now the opportunity for Rusted Bolt to get close to him. Tesco Mute is losing even more time now, as Simon will be gaining time on him as the laps tick down. 2.4 seconds now, Simon's behind Tesco Mute, and very soon the Ferrari and the McLaren, the oldest constructors in Formula One, will be going at it on track. As we head back to the front, Gibbo is ahead of Pesci, still leading this race. Hasn't done enough to keep Pesci up, but Pesci decides to follow him into the pit lane, and that is going to be their one stop here. Lap 14, like I said, we'll see who speeds into the pit lane. They're all following each other into the pit lane, and that just goes to show you that none of these drivers want. I think all of these drivers are thinking about the undercuts. If Ferrari stay out, would they be hoping for a safety car now? These drivers that decided to stay out definitely be hoping that safety car will come out right at this moment that will save their races and put them in a very, very interesting place compared to the drivers who have decided to go into the pit. But Gibbo, Pesci, Christopher Schulin, Raphael Tringler, and JSS all going into the pits. The JSS double stack on his teammate there, probably because he was quite close to Schulin. I don't believe Schulin was about 7 seconds ahead of JSS. So retired from the session, or also in the pit lane. I thought he retired on track. Both Mercedes now out of the session, and there will be no points for the Mercedes team today. As once the TP went, the driver has no reason to stay because honestly, you follow what your TP does. If your TP is one of those ones that no matter what he finishes the race, no matter how bad it's going, your drivers will be more susceptible to finish races, even if they feel like they don't want to. But Declan will be coming into the pit lane, almost going into the wall there, maximizing his pit lane entry as much as he can. Connor Deadly, Mr. P, and Hazer will be following him into. Tesco decides to follow them into the pit lane too. He knows that he's not going to double stack because Hazer was about 7 seconds ahead of him. We'll see if he does double stack. The Ferrari has been released. Another Ferrari will be putting a bit of a double stack, but not too much for Tesco as he will be coming out of the pits. Now Simon has come out, so definitely he will gain on Tesco as Rusted Bull still staying out. Gibbo still keeping the lead of this race, but Declan now is in a very interesting position. He decided to go into the pits one lap later than the three drivers in front. How is that going to set up the rest of Declan's race? As Raphael Tringler is going to took it around the outside on Connor, but Connor defends that place and keeps his place in front of the Williams. Declan, though, has pulled away from the DRS of Connor, so that's P6 down is now a different pack from the top five. The top five are showing why they are the top five. Actually, it's going to be the top four when Rusted Boat comes into the pit lane. But Declan is in the prime position to win this race here. His tires are fresher than three drivers in front, and definitely Declan will be thinking about that with the last few laps coming into this race. That is when Declan will be looking to make as much places as possible. Our championship, our sorry, brain fart, honestly, brain fart. Our reigning champion Declan showing his pace here as Raphael Tringler is going to get ahead of Connor. Hazer also overtakes Mr. B up to P8 he goes, and Rusted both coming onto the pit lane right in front of JSS. Good pit stop for Rusted both, and it's going to have fresher tires than the drivers in front. All drivers in front, Rusted both 1.6 seconds behind Mr. P, and will try to chase him down. Mr. P behind Hazer. Hazer showing that he might have slightly bit of more pace than P, so he will try to pull away as much as he can because he knows when P has that DRS, he can hold on to him. And see, coming out of that corner, Hazer with a better exit, and P is definitely going to lose that DRS going into his corner. He needs to push as hard as he can, as brave as he can into this right hander, and he does so. That's going to give him a bit of a DRS squirt to hold on to Hazer. Now it's the left hander. It's going to be the slow, long right hander. You're going to have to keep that traction, keep that car going quick as you can, and he can now hold on to Hazer with that DRS. 7 tenths behind that Ferrari is going to be enough to hold on to. But Pesci still not having enough to get past Aaron Gibbo here. And after taking the lead on lap 2, Aaron still doesn't look like he wants to give it up. Declan, though, is going to be attacking Christopher Schulin. JSS getting by Rusted Bolt with that DRS. Rusted Bolt has the fresher tires on his car, and his tires just about warming up now after coming into the pit lane. So he definitely will be making a move back on JSS. Hazer, though, catching up to AKZ Deadly from the three-man pack of Raphael, Connor, and AKZ Deadly are squabbling and giving a chance for Hazer to get back into their DRS. And it's going to be a very, very interesting end to this race. He head back to the front. Simon, though, in all that, got past Tesco. I believe he went into the pit lane a lap before Tesco. And he has gotten past the Ferrari. Back Panther 5 seconds behind. Can he catch up to Tesco and Simon in the front? We will see. We're heading to the front now. Declan closer to Christopher Schulin this time around as he's ever been since the last time he tried a move on the Haas. The Haas didn't have the DRS last time, but this time he does, and it will not be enough. Pesci is going to be getting on Gibbo. Will he dive down the inside? He decides not to do so. And he definitely wasn't close enough to even try of how to have a look. Kick Sauber now still leading this race. Is that going to be another race win for them? That's probably not the best entry into that corner, that cave. A chance for Pesci to catch up to him, but he still keeps Pesci behind. Declan is definitely very frustrated behind Christopher Schulin here. He feels that he probably has more pace than he has, but with that DRS that he has, he can keep Declan away, keep him from overtaking him. Would this be a second podium for Christopher Schulin? Because he did get a podium last week. He got a P3 in Jeddah. Can he get it once again? Raphael Tringler finishing in P5 last week and is looking to get a P5 once again. The four new drivers actually, Connor, Raphael Tringler, Schulin, and Gibbo, all in the top 6. And that is what we expected them to be when these drivers were coming in. It was news around the league that we're getting a bunch of sweat, so we did expect them to be in the top 7, top 8 in Tier 1. Now, leading this pack now is Raphael, and Connor is going to be behind him. Connor is not going to be close enough for sure to get him on Raphael, but Pesci is going to be close enough to finally get it on Gibbo. Around the outside he goes. Gibbo is not going to give it up, making a bit of contact, and that's going to give the chance for Christopher Schulin. Round the outside, gets Pesci, and Pesci now down to P3, trying to make an overtake, trying to mount an overtake on Gibbo, going into turn 1, side by side they made a bit of contact into turn 2, and that compromised Pesci and giving the chance to Christopher Schulin up to P2. Christopher Schulin, one of the ones that you do not expect to win a race here, but he's showing his consistency, and now can he be the one to get past Aaron Gibbo? Pesci had a lot of opportunities to do so, but he failed to do so. Tried again as much as he could, but compromise now dropped to P3. But Christopher Schulin now will be the one to have a go at Aaron Gibbo. Does he have the better entry and exit coming out of this corner? He needs that traction as he come out of the two quick right-handers. And it's not going to be close enough to Aaron Gibbo coming out of this one. And that is going to have the DRS to defend from Pesci, but he will not have enough to get by the Kick Sauber in front. This is the opportunity now for the Kick Sauber, because Christopher Schulin surely is showing that he doesn't have as much pace as Pesci and Declan. And Gibbo definitely knows that. He smells blood, and this will be the time for him to start to pull away. 8 tenths now, almost 9 tenths that he's away from Christopher Schulin, who is going to be under pressure from Pesci, slightly going wide there. Pesci is going to be very close to him, and out of the DRS now he goes. Yellow flags at the back. Pax, I believe that's Pax, who is moving out of the way for them, getting lapped there. His yellow flags at the back. Christopher Schulin out of that DRS. Can he get it as they head to the fast right-hander here? Still out of it. Will he have it here? He's low on that ERS. He gets the DRS. Does he? It seems like he does. Yeah, he does. And that's going to keep him close to Christopher Schulin. But this corner where traction matters, Gibbo now is going to try and pull away. Try to not give Christopher that DRS. And will Christopher have it this time around? He will have it. So that will give him a chance to keep Pesci and Declan behind. Declan still with fresher tires than the 3 drivers in front. Gibbo with the quickest lap of a 1:15.0. And it's starting to heat up here. It's coming to the end of this race. Heading down to Connor and Raphael Tringler. Connor still not close enough to Raphael Tringler, but Hazer is picking the defensive line of Mr. P, and it will still stay ahead of Mr. P in this one. Rusted both not showing the pace, him and JSS, and they're falling 4 seconds now back to the pack of four, actually pack of five of Raphael Tringler down to Mr. Poem. Let's head back to the front. Christopher Shuyin now bringing his pace back onto track and holding up to Gibbo. He's showing the consistency in that car. Maybe not the best when it comes to pace with drivers around him, but one thing this driver knows how to do is knows how to set consistent laps. He's still holding on to Gibbo here, and he's going to have that DRS again to defend from Pesci behind. Pesci very frustrated behind. Pesci getting very frustrated behind Aaron here for sure. I mean, behind Christopher here for sure after making that mistake earlier. And he will be pushing to make a move on Christopher ASAP. Let me close on that. Microsoft maybe. Well, Pesci close to Christopher here, but not close enough. Declan also not close enough to make a move. Nobody's going to be close enough to make a move. Making a move is actually very difficult here at Spain. As I think everybody knows that how difficult it is to make moves here at Spain, especially when the driver in front of you has that DRS. It's nine near impossible to get the move completed. But deadly, your last week's race winner down in P7 today, and we'll see how much he can recover. Can he finish in the top five? Raphael Tringler holding on to that top five. He loves the top five here. And he lost fifth position. That would be two fifth positions for Raphael Tringler if he can keep Connor behind. 11 laps to go in this one. Will they be going into the pits one more time? I don't believe they will. The hard tires will go to the end. Will they? I mean, they have to do like 10 more laps, so that'll be like 18 laps on the hards. They will, but they will struggle for sure. Maybe a bunch of them might be very close to puncture territory. But Pesci now still stuck behind Christopher Schulin, who is not going to be close enough to Gibbo. To make a move on Gibbo, you're going to have to be about 3/10 coming out of this corner if you want to make a move on him. Declan still stuck behind those three men as Connor is going to be closer to Raphael Tringler as he's ever been throughout this lap, but he's not going to go for the move there. Connor had way more ERS in his car than Raphael. I'm surprised that he didn't burn as much as he needed to get past the Williams there, but Connor is going to stay behind Raphael here. He's struggling. He's having the same issue that his teammate Simon had at Jeddah last week, struggling to get past Raphael Tringler. Maybe not using the ERS as efficiently as possible to get the overtake completed. JSS is now 1 second back from Rusted Bolt. So Rusted Bolt doesn't have that problem too much now. He's not too close to him as he was earlier. But Simon has been overtaken by Tesco Meal Deals. These two is clearly around the same pace. I think I've seen them racing 100% before, and it was around the same pace that they were. Tesco, probably the quickest in tier 2, is doing a good job here for his team. Well, Hazer now right behind AKZ Deadly. This pack is going to stay this pack unless Connor does something about it. Pesci close to Christopher Schulin, but not close enough. We're heading down to Connor. He's using all his ERS. He has lots of ERS in his car. He's going to burn as much as possible. And on the inside, he finally completes that move on Raphael Tringler. Last lap, he decided to save it, but this time he had enough, and he was close enough to get past Raphael Tringler. Now, who will try and use his ERS to maybe get an inside move here, but nothing doing. Pesci, though, making contact with Christopher Schulin, trying to make a move on the inside of the Haas, and that's definitely going to make Christopher lose time to Aaron in front. Pesci definitely showing a bit of frustration now. It's not as easy as it could have been, as there's a lot of top drivers around him that are not going to make it easy for sure. But Gibbo now has pulled away, and this definitely is going to give him the race win. I don't see anybody beating him here from here, because even with the DRS, these drivers struggle to get by, and he has now run away from that DRS. But Pesci knows that Christopher Schulin doesn't have it. He's low on his ERS though, but he's definitely going to go on the attack. and is going to be gaining on the Haas, who's already blinking as they head down the straight. Pesci is going to be gaining on him. Will he dive down the inside here? No, he will not. He's going to hold it back. He wasn't close enough to complete that move. And yeah, they're all going to stay as they were. And Pesci now, but he knows that Christopher has fallen out of that DRS and they'll be fighting for P2 in this one. Gibbo definitely is going to be a winner, and that's going to be another race win for the Kick Sauber team. But Declan now looking to attack Pesci on the outside, nothing doing there. Christopher Schulin, 1.9 seconds behind Gibbo, has two cars behind him. Two championship contenders for sure this season. And he knows that he's going to be under a lot of pressure here if he wants to continue his championship mount after getting a P3 last week. A P2 will be a very good result. But first, he's going to have to fend off the Visa RB and the Haas. And another Haas has spawned. I believe that's JSS. JSS going around there. And that's going to make Tesco and Simon catch up to him. He has lost all the time to Rusted Bolt. He didn't have the pace to catch up to Rusted Bolt anyways, but now he's going to be under more pressure after making that mistake. Tesco is going to be right behind him and he's going to have that DRS. But here we go. Pesci finally clears Christopher Schulin on the inside, and Declan now still stuck behind three drivers. And as he's been stuck behind his three all race, and he may be now be looking for an opportunity on Christopher in front. Does Pesci though have the pace to catch up to Aaron Gibbo? He did have the pace to always hold on to Aaron, just that Aaron going down the straight always had enough to keep Pesci behind. So maybe that pace that Pesci was showing earlier in this race will give him enough to catch back up to Gibbo before we end this one. Hayes are still stuck behind Deadly and Raphael Tringler as Connor is doing a good job to keep Raphael away. Any moves being made? Nothing being made so far as Merck is coming into the pit lane now, and he will be coming in for hard tires, and he has fixed his wing. I believe he must have fixed it on the earlier pit stop that he did, and we'll see where he does finish in this one. Not the best day for Merck, but he will finish the race as he knows how to do. Pesci now the quickest lap. Like I said, Pesci does have the pace. Without DRS, has the best pace on track. And will he have enough though to catch up to Gibbo before the end of this race? Catching up is one thing though, but overtaking is another. He's already struggled to get past Gibbo in this race, and he's going to have to use a lot of his tires and his ERS to catch up to Gibbo and make an overtake on him. With 6 laps to go in this one, I think the Kick Sauber has this win settled. But Declan wants to go around the outside of Christopher Schulin. He does go for it. Christopher has the better exit coming out of that corner. Declan doesn't want to give this up as they go around this corner. Will Declan complete that move? He will. What a move from the Alpine. Goes round the outside of the left-hander there on Christopher Schulin. He's not going to have the DRS to defend from him, but a brilliant move from Declan, and those tires that are on his car now are starting to show, and he's cleared the Haas of Christopher here. And now we'll try and chase down Pesci, who is slowly starting to catch up to Gibbo in front. I'm happy I saw that move. I've been getting a bunch of moves made on track today. Maybe it's not as clear as you guys want it to be on stream, but at least we're getting them. But Christopher now is going to be behind Declan. Is he going to go on the attack on the Alpine? He's going to go for it. He's gaining on Declan. Will he dive down the inside here? No, he will not. He wasn't close enough to do so. As Connor now still keeping Raphael Tringler behind. Mr. P doing a good job to hold on to this pack, but it's just so difficult to make an overtake in the DRS train here. Tesco is going to go for the move on the inside of JSS, and he's going to complete that move up to P11. Tesco goes. Good driving from the Ferrari there. As his teammate in PA to try to make up even more places. Very close to Delhi here, but not close enough to make that move. As Connor is doing a good job. Still 8/10 ahead of Raphael Tringler. He's been 8/10 ahead of Raphael when they come into this corner multiple times now. So he's keeping that consistency in his pace to keep Raphael far enough that he can't complete that move. But Pesci now is 1.5 seconds behind Aaron Gibbo. And Pesci is absolutely flying here. And can he catch up to him? Declan 2.8 seconds behind Pesci. So Declan definitely is going to have to settle for a P3 in this one. I don't believe he will have the pace to catch up to the drivers in front. But Pesci, with a few laps to go, will soon be in that DRS. Someone is off. It's deadly. It's deadly. I saw it. I saw it happening. Is that going to be a safety car? Yes, it is. A safety car. He absolutely lost it coming out of the final corner. Too much bravery from Deadly. He did lose it in quali, and he's done it once again with a few laps to go in this race. Deadly has thrown spice into this one. And now, what are they going to do? Simon comes into the pit. Most of these drivers are going to come into the pit. JSS comes into the pit. Are they going to be stuck behind the safety car? No, they are not. He's going to be waiting for the leader here. And what does Gibbo decide to do? If he decides to stay out in this one, and a bunch of drivers behind him going, but if few more also decide to stay out, like the likes of Tesco, then Gibbo is in a good position. He's going to have to think about it now with a few laps to go in this one. The leader is all on him. Go in for fresh tires or stay out. Well, you know that it's going to be about 2 or 3 laps of racing, maybe two max, maximum 2 laps of racing. So I will stay out personally. Personally, I will stay out because if like 6 drivers behind you pit and the others don't, you're in a perfect position. But here we go. What is Gibbo going to do? Does he decide to stay out? Yes, he does. Like I said, I would stay out. Pesci stays out. Declan is going to stay out. Christopher Schulin goes into the pit lane. Connor is going to stay out. Rafael Tringa staying out. Hazer, pit lane for him. Mr. P is going to decide to stay out. Rusted Bow, pit lane for him. AKZ Delhi definitely has to go into the pit lane. He got damage on his car. I believe he even had rear wing damage. So that definitely might be the end of Deadly's race. Or maybe he will just try to finish and get the points. Tesco deciding to come in. Most of the other drivers will be coming to the pit lane because there's really nothing to gain staying out here. But the top 5 deciding to stay out. Christopher Scholin, though, is now in the prime position to win this race. And this race has been thrown at the spanner. And Christopher Scholin, he knows that he needs 2 proper laps. He needs 2 proper laps to get the win here. And he's going to have to do it as soon as possible because we're going to have only 2 laps of racing in this one, which is going to be lap 32 and lap 33. Christopher, the first driver on the soft. Hazer also on the soft, so he's in a good position. P is also in a good position, but he has that 3-second penalty, and he definitely will not be happy with that because he's the only one with the 3-second penalty on track. So that's going to see him lose a lot of places when they do finish this race. Ferrari's in a prime position. We will see what they do, but the safety car is going to come in at the end of the next lap for sure when all the drivers catch up. Parks be able to catch up to the pack? I don't believe he will be able to do so, but he will push to see. Actually, that's Merck. Actually, who is down there. Pax has been lapped. So Pax has been lapped. Will you see? Obliged to be unlapped. I mean, it's a few laps to go, so I'm guessing probably not at this point. But we will see when he does get into the back of Bakey, if Bakey does let him to. Or Bakey actually is stuck behind Gibbo, so Gibbo is not letting Bakey through. Gibbo doesn't let Bakey unlap himself. I don't know, would he get a penalty for that? It's a 10-second penalty for P, also it's a 10-second penalty, so he can't even appeal that. As Gibbo, I mean, it's late in the race, so I'll say maybe they wouldn't penalize them for not letting them through, because it's honestly just so late in the race that okay, Gibbo does. Maybe he's actually listening to me. Maybe he's listening to me and he lets Bakey through. Lucky boy. He probably was listening on into the stream, and that will see him not get a penalty. Lucky boy. Maybe I just saved Gibbo there. Maybe he just remembered. I don't know. Either I saved him or he remembered. If I did save him, then shout out to me. I believe everybody else has been. As for Parks, there's no need to let him through, guys. Don't worry about Parks. He's already at the back. And but there's no way we're going to let Parks get back. Yeah, safety car is already coming in this lap. So if you didn't let Parks through, it's fine. He didn't catch up anyway, so you're not going to get a penalty. Bakey is lapped, so he's not Parks can't finish ahead of him in the end. So Baker is going to take peak 16 in the end. He's already too far back from the pack. Merck couldn't catch up to the pack even even with the safety car. He's pushing as much as he can. A few corners to go here. He's going to have to keep pushing here. Merck, get there, get there, get there. Come on. Push as much as you can because Gibbo is going to go very soon and he's off now, but not the best restart from Pesci, and that's going to give Gibbo the space to pull away now. But the driver we want to watch is Christopher Schulin on those soft tires. How much of an advantage is he going to get on the other drivers in front? It's definitely going to be a lot, especially in a corner like this. And he's going to hook it round the outside. There we go. Christopher Schulin gets past one, gets past two. Hazer's going to follow him suit. The soft tires getting past Rafael Tringler. Will Christopher and Hazer squabble? I think Hazer is going to get past Christopher and Connor here. Up to P4 he goes. Hazer, is he going to be your winner? Declan is struggling. Hazer has that soft tires. He's going to be 1.5 laps to go in this one. P is making more places. As they are squabbling now, it's going to be a lot of fighting. Connor round the outside, P of getting overtake done on him. But with that 10-second penalty, he's going to lose a lot of places. At the end of this one, going off track there, Rafael Tringler, he's on those hard tires, so he's going to be losing places. Tesco wants to hold it round the outside of the Red Bull. He does not complete that move, but heading back to the front. Hazer in a perfect position to get your win here. He has that tire with one more lap to go in this one. He's not going to have the DRS till the final DRS zone. And coming out of this corner, does he have the traction? Does he have the straight line speed? He gets the quickest lap and he needs to take the opportunity in the fast right-hander here. This is where his soft tires will get the advantage on Declan in front. Can he do what Christopher Schilling did a few laps, last lap, with the grip, with the traction on Declan? Is going to be gaining. Declan decides to pick the defensive line. Hazer is going to go for the attacking line. He makes a bit of contact with Declan, but he's going to get by. Hazer with those soft tires has the grip on Declan. Up to P3 he goes. Can he get Pesci before the end of this one? He has that podium for now, and we'll see how that goes. Side by side, AKZ Deadly and the Alpine of Mr. P, and they're wheel to wheel. The Alpine is going to stay ahead of him. Deadly is going to try and hold him around the outside. And the final lap of this one, Gibbo has done enough, definitely, to be your race winner. But as Hazer, Pesci done enough to get past Hazer. He has going into the back of Hazer is Christopher Schulin. But Hazer has done a good fear. Does he have the grip to get past Pesci before they get to the final corner in this one? He will not. But Aaron Gibbo, on his debut, wins a dramatic race here at Spain. Pesci will take P2. Hazer is going to take that P3. Christopher Schulin in P4. Declan takes P5. Both Red Bull drivers. A strong day for them once again. 6 and 7. Connor in P8 as his wings flying off at the back. What's going on there? Mr. P has spun down in P14. He goes. Simon takes P10. Tesco P9. Good result for him. Tringler dropping down to P11. He definitely will not be happy with that safety car. P12 for Panther. 13 for JSS. 14 for P15 will be Merck. 16 for Bakey. And Parks rounds up the grid. There's a crash on the grid. As Parks and Bakey. I believe that's the other Williams actually. Parks and Rafael Tringler on the grid. But Aaron Gibbo wins a dramatic race here at Spain. And it's another dub for Kick Sauber. Up the kick, up the Twingo. Pesci and Gibbo, a good race here, but very fantastic recovery for the Ferrari of Hazer as he grabs Ferrari's second podium, actually first podium of the season. The first podium was in Tier 3, but it was lost due to a penalty. So Hazer grabs the Ferrari's first podium of the season. What a race that was at the end there. Gibbo wins his debut race. He's going to give us a bit of a dance and stand at the top of the podium. And that was an entertaining race. Thank you guys for so much proper racing. His team is going to celebrate. They know what it is to win gold. And they know what it is when you stand at the top of the podium. Because we know the champagne is going to taste the best in the Kick Sauber camp. Aaron Gibbo wins the Spanish Grand Prix. And he's accompanied by Hazer in P3 and Pesci in P2. What a dramatic ending to the race. I couldn't keep up. Driver race winner is going to be Aaron Gibb. But honestly, I'll give Aaron driver. Oh, but look at Bolt though. Fastest lap driver did most overtakes. Where did Bolt start in this one? Because I was first thinking giving Hazard from P13. So Hazard will be my driver of the day. Or Bolt, so I'll think about it. Maybe I'll give it to Hazard if he doesn't get into any incidents. So well, here we go. Incidents. Let's get it as much as people need, and that's your finishing order. Thank you guys for tuning in to a very, very entertaining race here at Spain. I've been Willie Fernandez as always. We have been UFRL. Good night. Goodbye. See you tomorrow in Tier 2 Singapore when Loeb, Mr. Loeb, will be on the comms and surely will be a very, very entertaining race. Good night and goodbye.